Santa Monica Beach, sunset, April 26, 2003. The mild ocean breeze seemed to wash away the tension and relax the excitement from the past week. Memories of below-freezing temperatures, strained muscles, and a case of bronchitis were fading as the sun set lower. What remained was the afterglow of an inspirational adventure, an adventure we would always remember. Pack. Fly to Las Vegas. Long flights. Little room. Some sleep. Arrive Las Vegas. No food at 11:45 p.m., but the slot machines are open. Finally get car and are on our way to the hotel at 1:30 a.m. Drove down the strip from Mandalay Bay to the Stardust. Never seen anything quite like it. Streets were very full. Finally in bed by 2 a.m. After a minor snafu, we met Uncle Bruce and Aunt Carol for breakfast. Then bought groceries, slot machines there too. On to Utah. We drove through the desert of Las Vegas, Nevada, Arizona, and then Utah. We picked our campsite at Bryce because of the view. We are camping right on the rim of the canyon. The view is just incredible. This afternoon, we decided to go for a hike at Sunrise Point. We were anxious to get moving and to stretch our legs. Here we are in a desolate, barren landscape. How wonderful to be in such a place. Last night we were in Las Vegas, and now we're wandering in nature's beauty. Kristen was eager to practice her photography skills, so we stopped often to take pictures and enjoy the views. The sun was playing off the rock formations and displaying their vibrant colors. Oh, it's beautiful. This short hike got us excited for a longer adventure tomorrow. I'd like to go much further into the canyon itself. We'll see if the weather cooperates. Today we decided to take an 8-mile or so hike down into the canyon itself. The route we chose, the Fairyland Loop of the Rim Trail, took us around part of the rim and then down into a good portion of the northern canyon. Unfortunately, we woke up to clouds and chilly temperatures. As soon as we started out from our campsite, it began to snow. However, we pressed on, hoping for the best, and were not disappointed. It was exhilarating realizing how few people were there. Bryce is full of exotic rock formations. Many of them, due to their distinctive nature, are named. We passed by the Boat Mesa, Sinking Ship Mesa, Bristlecone Point, Tower Bridge, and the Chinese Wall. The unique formations in Bryce are formed by erosion. The bedrock originated some 60 million years ago when southern Utah held a series of low-lying lake beds. For millions of years, rivers deposited sediments into these lake beds. These deposits of rocks, clays, and silts were eventually compressed into sedimentary rock layers. The layers are made up of lime, dolomite, silts, iron oxides, and manganese compounds, leading to the orange and purple hues. Around 16 million years ago, as the Colorado Plateau was lifted up by tectonic activity, the plateaus grew higher, the stream beds continued to erode away at the surface. Due to some layers of sediments being more resistant to erosion than others, the eroding streams eventually cut the pinnacles, or hoodoos, that tower above the canyon floor. This erosion is still continuing today. All that to say, it sure makes beautiful, ever-changing landscape through which to hike. Once we made it halfway, we could look back and see the rim just behind which lay our campsite. No trail was visible leading back, so we often wondered how we'd really get back across all that rugged countryside. The sun came out in the afternoon, giving us spectacular views of the pinnacles. This hike was definitely a highlight of our trip.
It's very chilly here. It is snowing. Happy April.
The next morning, we awoke to much worse weather and reports of a pending storm. As such, we decided to give up on Bryce and head to Zion for the rest of the week, hoping for warmer weather in the lower elevations. I'd been to Zion 18 years earlier and remembered it as one of the highlights. I can't wait to take Kristen up Angel's Landing Trail, one of the best hikes I've ever been on. Again, as with Bryce, we started with a short hike to a ridge 1,500 feet above our campsite. One of the obvious differences between Zion and Bryce is the number of people. We passed them often. The hike was an easy, well-worn trail with many switchbacks. It got pretty hot as the sun came out. Reaching the top provided us with a wonderful view up into Zion Canyon. However, the first thing we noticed was ominous clouds rolling in from the southwest. It was cool seeing them moving up the canyon, but the temperature started dropping noticeably. Suddenly, we were warned of pending danger by lightning and thunder. Not wanting to be caught too much in the open, Kristen and I took a few more pictures, and then we started heading down the trail just as small hail pelted us from above. The lightning subsided though, and the storm passed as quickly as it came. We then had the privilege and opportunity to see the backside of the storm as it continued through the canyon. Again, the sun came out. Show us what you're cooking.
It's tuna helper, but I don't like tuna helper, so we're using chicken breast, and it's the creamy Parmesan. It will be delicious. I've already added a half a cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of butter. The pasta, now the chicken's going in. Normally you would drain it, but we think it's going to add a little flavor. So we're going to go ahead and pour that in. Make sure it doesn't splash up on you. Then you pour in the sauce mix. It's a special blend from the kitchens of Eddie Crocker. Now, if my sister with a hand needs spatula, we'll stir it.
Make sure the heat's not on too much.
This is hard to do.
Day 4, morning. Show me the inside of the tent.
Just a moment while I secure.
We woke up this morning with our faces buried in the top of the tent. The snowfall and sleet in the early morning bogged down the tent so much that we could not even sit up. As the temperatures fluctuated above freezing, this turned into a cold, steady rain.
It's a little weighted down with water. But that's why you get down sleeping bags, because they dry quickly. Or so my husband says.
The weather forecast on the radio predicted a winter storm later this morning. Angel's Landing will have to wait. Well, we decided to leave Zion, and this is why. It's beautiful, but we're not prepared for winter camping.
It's awful hard to hike in, too. A little muddy. Oh. Maybe another year. Off to the Grand Canyon we go. See you there. Au revoir.
It's a little damp still, but it's certainly better than Zion. So we're hoping to dry our stuff out and get a good night's rest. What is this bright stuff? There's a big bright orb in the sky. I haven't seen it before.
Tim says if it doesn't dry by tonight, I can sleep in the car in my sleeping bag. So we'll take video later and see where I end up sleeping. Tim only agreed to this arrangement because earlier today I was running a low-grade fever and I do have a head cold. So, Tim, tell me about this cooler.
When I was in High Road, I learned how to start a fire with one match. It's been a while, but some things you never forget how to do. Let's see if this one match fire works. I still have the knack for it.
Now is the true test, even though it's not quite nighttime, of whether or not I'm going to sleep in the car. Tim says the tent should be dry, and we're getting ready to set up our sleeping bags and mats, so let's go inside and see.
What do you think?
Well,
Looks pretty dry.
fairly dry. I think Tim will sleep on that side. We'll get some paper towels and wipe it up, but it looks like my side's pretty dry. I guess I'm in the tent. We're at the South Kaibab Trail. It's a little crowded. There must be a school group of about 100 kids here, so we're waiting till a lot of them pass. And then we're going to start down the trail for a view of the canyon.
Tell me your thoughts about the Grand Canyon.
Well, it's definitely a Grand Canyon. No, it's amazing. It's hard to believe it's real. Well, after visiting the Grand Canyon, we decided to move on and camp at the base of Mount Humphreys near Flagstaff.
Kristen was getting an early case of bronchitis, so we decided to bring her out to the desert. Here we are at Joshua Tree National Park. I can't see any Joshua trees. No Joshua trees here. What park are we in again? Joshua Tree National Park? Yes? I thought they'd be much bigger.
Dude, I think it's taller. Kind of like this.
I think I see one.
This is a Joshua tree.
Once we finally found out where all the Joshua trees were hiding, it was remarkable. I felt like we were written into a Dr. Seuss book. The rocks and trees were just so playful and fanciful. I felt as if we were in a giant playground. Given that we were in Joshua Tree National Park, it naturally reminded me of my brother, so I decided to give him a call.
Hey, Nathaniel.
At the end of our trip, we had the chance to attend the wedding of one of Tim's college friends, Elgin. It was a special time, and we even got to see parts of a traditional Korean wedding ceremony.
All in all, it was a great way to end the trip. Relaxing with friends, hanging out at the beach, and preparing for a long red-eye to Detroit.